I've been in Norway for a few weeks now. I've been on countless mountains. I've seen buckets of snow, but only now, in my final destination, am I getting to do some skiing. My name's Jamie. Welcome to Oslo. Got there at the end. That one was really difficult to find. If you're going to do a bit of skiing, you need to carry a map with you, because I didn't have one to start with, and I thought I was a goner. I thought I was completely lost on this big old hill. And that route there is a red route, and that's probably about as difficult as I can go. There's only one time really when I tried a black diamond, and when I did that I learned a very important lesson. So the story went, I was on a ski trip with friends and we accidentally came across a black diamond route and I got stuck. I was that scared. It was just too steep for me. So I chickened out. I sat down on the slope and I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But my friends, they started, encouraging me, and then finally I did it, and it was the most incredible bit of skiing I've ever done. I don't think I'll ever do anything as action-packed as that in my life ever again. So all I've got is a memory. Now, if I had an action camera like this on my head, I'd be able to relive the moment, and I would have probably gone viral and been famous by now, but I'm not. So I learned a very important lesson there, and I've made a vow from then until now that whenever I go skiing, I have an action camera like this on my head.
How bad's the helmet hair? It's pretty bad, right? So I saved skiing until my last destination because I know that I already love skiing, and this trip was all about trying things that I've never done before. And I guess, I've never skied in Oslo, so it sort of counts, doesn't it? And I can't come to Oslo without coming to the Oslo Winter Park. And you know what? The helmet hair can stay because I think I'm going to be wearing another helmet later.
I want to see Oslo through a different lens than your average tourist. So instead of using a map, I'm going to follow this, the Akerselva River, and it's going to take me from west to east Oslo, and along the way I'm going to discover a lot of hidden gems like bars, cafes and markets that I probably wouldn't find if I was sticking to the beaten path. And as well as those hidden gems, I'm going to come across a few of these waterfalls. This one happens to be the biggest along the route, and I know what you're thinking, that's the biggest waterfall, that's not that impressive. But remember, we're in a capital city, so for a capital city dwelling waterfall, that's the fair size. Over the years, the current capital of Norway has had a few names. In the Middle Ages, the place was called Oslo. But at that point, it was a provincial town with more animals than people. Then, in the 1600s, a huge fire brought the city to its knees, and the then king, King Christian IV, rebuilt it and named it after himself. He called it Christiania. And then, in 1877, there was a huge shake-up, and the name was changed to Christiania again, but this time with a K instead of a C. And then in 1925 things went full circle and the city was renamed as Oslo. Now we know that Norwegians like to take the scenic route, but I think that's probably taking it a bit far. I've got a bit of time to kill right now in Oslo, so I've come along to Frogner Park, and this place is so famous because it's full of about 200 statues, all by the same guy, one of Oslo's most famous sculptors, Gustav Vigeland. And as we can see, Gustav liked his statues to be naked. Now in the summertime, this place is bursting with people, but even on a cold winter day like today, plenty of Norwegians and tourists alike have come along to ogle at the nudity. Now what Gustav was trying to do with his hundreds of naked statues was explore the minutiae of human life, and the correct interpretation of this particular statue is probably something to do with a father overwhelmed by raising his children. But my less sophisticated brain is giving me a few other ideas. Firstly, I'm getting an idea of a rain of zombie babies. That one up there looks particularly nasty. Or it could be, now this one's a bit of a wild one, it could be an artistic representation of the lesser known Norwegian pastime of baby football. Dunno, what do you think? You know what, this is kind of fun coming up with my own interpretations for these statues. This one is reminding me of something that I've done a few times myself. I call this one a celebration urination. Ah, I remember you two. It's that couple from the Viking village. Gustav Vigeland worked for about 20 years solidly to create all of these statues, and this one here is probably his most famous. It's known as Angry Baby, and you can see just how popular it is by its hand. It's completely polished from all the people who've come and had a photo with it over the years. And actually, now that I'm here, I can see that his little, you know what, is pretty polished too. That's why he's an angry baby. Now this really is the stuff of nightmares, isn't it? Now here we have what appears to be man-sized broccoli eating some poor naked humans. Broccoli is supposed to be my favourite vegetable. How am I supposed to eat it now?
Well, what a topsy-turvy time I've had here in Frogner Park. I've got to be honest, I had a lot more fun than I thought I was going to have here. And I can safely say that I've seen enough green genitals to last me a lifetime. Holmenkollen is about 30 minutes outside of Oslo, and it's often considered to be the beating heart of skiing here in Norway. Now, I know I've already given skiing a go whilst I'm here in Oslo, so I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. You see, Holmenkollen is famous for this incredibly large ski jump behind me. Now, if I gave ski jumping a go, I'd probably be leaving on a stretcher, maybe even a body bag, so don't worry, Mum, I'm not going to be doing that. I am, however, still going to be soaring through the air. This is usually the part where I begin to get nervous, but actually I'm not. I've seen how high this jump is, or zip line, and I can't wait. I'm actually really excited. I've got complete faith in this harness this gentleman's kindly putting on me. I don't know if he's doing it right, but I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's very well trained. He's just laughed, so I think that means, yes, we're going to be okay. He's laughed again. I think that's going to give me even more enthusiasm and confidence, because I really can't wait. I'm going to fly through the air with an incredible view too, so I can see all over Oslo. And it's several hundred meters. How high is it?
How high is it?
They don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. Am I ready?
All right.
I feel ready. Let's do it.
So, excited?
It's all just got very real now. Look at that incredible view. So in the wintertime, this is the ski jump that the real ski jumpers go on. But in the off season, wannabe ski jumpers like me get to go on a zip line all the way to the bottom. So we're about 100 meters up in the air, aren't we now? With this incredible view. And as I just said that, my heart sort of fell to my feet. And my heart is now beginning to pound. So before I get nervous, we're going to have to do it. Okay.
Sure. We'll hook you up. So I'll attach the helmet first.
Yes.
Then we'll put the helmet on.
Okay.
And then I'll attach you to the trolley here.
Brilliant. Well, I don't think I'm going to have time for a selfie when I'm up in the air, because it's only going to take about 20 seconds. So I've got a little action camera, which is going to film the whole experience. But now, John, you're going to get me safely.
We'll try
strapped
to get you
in.
safely. Nah, it should be fine. So now this is the safety line.
Okay.
And then I'll do this. And then you can
I can't believe this.
sit down.
Oh, God. Right. I think this is going to be the most difficult bit.
Yeah.
Trying to
Watch yourself.
and not fall off prematurely. Okay. What do I do? What do I do? Do I just jump off?
Yep. Okay.
Okay, everyone count down. Everyone count down.
So 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my God. And after that action-packed ride, I just sort of dangle here like a string of sausages. But whew, it's all well and good when you're flying through the air, but once you get back to here, everything gets a little bit more tighter. But that was absolutely incredible. I don't think my brain actually kicked in until I was sort of halfway through, because I wanted to do it fast. So I sort of jumped into it, and then I think my brain shut off for a moment. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I was sort of just dangling in the air. So I let go and I sort of swung around a bit, and it felt like I was flying. And what's more, I survived. So the bucket list continues. Well, this sunny cycle ride around Oslo has got me feeling like quite the respectable European gentleman, and my Oslo tour guide is telling me that this is actually the Norwegian Parliament building. It says here that it's called the Stortinget, and in my rough Norwegian, that means to me big thing, and it's not, is it? It's not actually a big thing, it's quite small. The parliamentary buildings where I come from, England, Westminster Palace, are huge. But if you know anything about London, you'll know that Westminster Palace is crumbling into the River Thames, and that parliamentary building right there looks like it's in incredibly good nick. Good job, Norway. Each year, a committee of people meet here in Oslo to decide the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, this is an event of global significance, which I know very little about. So I've come to the Nobel Peace Center to see what I can find out. I feel like I'm wandering through some futuristic space garden, but this is in fact what's known as the Nobel Field, and it's a very peaceful part of this museum, which is quite fitting, isn't it? But here is where you'll find lots of smiling and sometimes a little serious looking faces of all the laureates, and these are the people who have won the Nobel Peace Prize. So in this room there are 105 screens, and when you wander up to each of the screens, it'll give you a little snippet of information about that particular laureate, who they were, why they won, and what they did for the benefit of the human race. And whilst I've been in here just sort of wandering around looking at these incredible people, I'm actually feeling very inspired, very chilled out and inspired. Wandering around this room, there are some people here that don't surprise me that they won a Nobel Peace Prize. For example, Martin Luther King Jr. here was very deserving of one, in my opinion. But then I'm learning things too, because there are lots of faces that I either didn't know much about or didn't know why they won. And also, I learned that it doesn't have to be a person to be awarded a Nobel Peace Prize. It could be a government, an organisation, or a charity maybe, those sorts of things. So it's really interesting to find out a bit more about this elusive award. Because, I say elusive, because there doesn't have to be an award given out every year. If the committee can't decide on a deserving recipient, then there is just no Nobel Peace Prize award for that year. And another thing that nobody can really agree on is the reason why Alfred Nobel chose Norway and Oslo in particular for the people who should decide who gets the Nobel Peace Prize. That is something that nobody really knows. know it's been a rough night when you wake up inside the bottle. So I'm starting to think that Oslo might be a better name for this city because there are a few slightly odd tourist attractions that you can visit. One of them is the place where I am right now, which just so happens to be the world's largest collection of miniature bottles. Not this one though, this one's quite big. There's over 50,000 miniature bottles in the collection, and only a quarter of them are actually on show in the different exhibits. And all of these bottles were collected by one very eccentric gentleman. Here he is, Christopher Ignis, and his fascination with miniature bottles began at the tender age of 7 when his dad brought him home his first mini bottle. And you can actually see that very first mini bottle on display here at the exhibition. Well, I found myself on a stage, so maybe I should give out an award. So, the award for the strangest tourist attraction here in Oslo goes to the Miniature Bottle Gallery. But all jokes aside, it's sort of been like a Frogner Park situation here. I ended up actually having quite a bit of fun that I didn't expect to have. But I think after seeing all of this tempting miniature liqueur, I should get a drink of my own. A full-size one though. What a journey it's been. I can't believe that this is it. This is it for Norway. We are at the end. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm exhausted, but in the best way possible. I've got this incredible sense of accomplishment. The amount of stuff that I've done here is mind-blowing. The amount that I've covered, and I'm talking literal distance here, the amount of kilometers that I've covered is mind-boggling. Me and that car have driven thousands and thousands of kilometers on some very treacherous roads, let me tell you. But I don't think I'd change anything for the world. It didn't all go to plan, you know, especially with this weather that can be very unpredictable. Things didn't always go as they were supposed to, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. You know, it was a very authentic experience. And the thing that I think I'll take away the most is the people here in Norway. When I was doing research about the country, I read that the Norwegian people can be stern and cold and a little bit closed off, but I found the absolute opposite. They were so welcoming, so eager to tell me all about their little part of Norway and all about the part of the country that they loved. And I'm really grateful for that, because I don't think my experience here in this country would have been the same if the people weren't so welcoming. So I think what I want to do now is just sit down, maybe have a little drink or so and toast this incredible country, because what I've done here is just the most amazing set of experiences. So it's time to reflect on my time here in Norway.